You may not have it marked on your calendar, but it was a year ago today that Christy Clark was sworn in as BC's 35th Premier. She took over from Gordon Campbell, who by the time he had left politics was down in the polls and was dragging the Liberal Party down with him. The Liberals were banking on Clark to re-energize their political fortunes, but a year later, on a day that would normally be set aside for celebration, Christy Clark appears to have little to cheer about. CTV's legislature reporter Stephen Andrew has more.
I, Christy Clark.
When Christy Clark was sworn in as Premier, one of her promises, open and transparent government.
Guys, the Premier's not taking questions today.
Why not?
In Vancouver, she's touring around, she's talking to clean tech companies, and then she's going back to Victoria.
So on a day when Clark should be celebrating 1 year in power, her new communications director running interference with the Premier and reporters doesn't exactly fit that image.
You want to shoot the Premier? She's right there.
No, I want to go over and ask her something.
Premier's had a year to get this job under her belt. Let's see her stand up and take responsibility and sort out this mess she's made with BC Place.
In the legislature, the pressure only gets worse. The opposition is hammering Clark over her government walking away from a $40 million deal with Telus for the naming rights to BC Place.
We have built over the last year a pretty good relationship with Telus. We have recently had some pretty big bumps in that road, but let's not forget that despite the fact that this deal didn't go I guess in the direction that anybody'd hoped that it would, because it turned out not to be a good deal for taxpayers. Despite that, we still have $1 billion deal that we did with Telus that's going to be great for taxpayers.
But the Telus deal isn't the only bump in the road. Clark is battling with teachers and is hours away from legislating them back to work. Her government has also been forced to scrap the unpopular HST, and her jobs plan doesn't appear to be grabbing the imagination of voters. The end result? Her poll numbers are plummeting, dropping below opposition leader Adrian Dix.
You know, I never thought that this would be easy. I always knew that this was a tough challenge to take on.
The Premier won't say if that is why she hasn't called 2 by-elections, but it's clear she's been watching the poll numbers.
Well, the holdup is I haven't called it yet, and I will in a couple of weeks. So,
In a couple of weeks.
probably. You'll find out.
Premier, can we ask you a few questions?
But if today's anniversary is any indication, there's no guarantees that will happen anytime soon. Stephen Andrew, CTV News, Victoria.